Evening, folks. Welcome to Everyday KT, number 173. Today, I'm going to get back to basics a little bit. I'm going to go through the problems that those freshly kilted or new to the kilt have to endure, or those who are looking at getting into a kilt should prep themselves for. I know we're talking a lot lately about getting up the courage and the motivation to put a kilt on. But then what? So first and foremost, obviously I'm not wearing a sporran. Why is that? As you know, who knows however many episodes ago, I did this. I replaced that. Well, 2 days ago, boom, that crapped out. So now I have a mated pair. Aloha, Chris. Aloha, folks. Welcome. So yeah, leather straps. The lifespan of these type of clasps, as you will, 10 years. Those are good for 10 years. And I said, you know what? Screw it. I don't want to put the kilt back on. So, trials and tribulations and problems and stuff that guys in kilts need to worry about. First and foremost, and always, every single day of every single night of every single moment of your life, if you have a kilt on, you have to worry about the wind. No matter what. Doesn't matter how big of a kilt pin you have on. It does not matter how heavy your sporran is. Chris, well, I'm just going over old stuff here tonight, Chris. It's not like it's been the past few days where I just get on a roll and run a bit. So, wind. Always be cognizant of your kilt in the wind. If you're in a high wind situation, know what you're doing. Know where your kilt is. Understand how it's going to move while you're wearing your kilt. And be prepared. I tend not to wear cargo style utility kilts in high wind environments because those things fly all over the damn place, especially the lighter ones. Forget about it. I prefer a heavier weight wool or other type of heavyweight kilt and a beefy sporran, because if nothing else, it keeps your bits and pieces under cover. Because everybody's seen a naked butt. Meh. Who cares? You can just about see that every day at the mall or just about anywhere else you go. Your bits and pieces, whole different story. Alrighty, so you got wind. Wind is trouble. Okay, then you got to worry about, the other thing you need to think about is your pleats. These things in the back, those of you who don't know, they're pleats. The things that swish back and forth. There's a whole episode of Everyday KT that talks about just how different materials and pleat styles swish when you're walking. It was really silly, but it was fun, so who cares? So, knowing where your pleats are going, knowing what they're doing, it's kind of important. The first thing you got to do is make sure there's no pleats or basting stitch. That's the piece of thread that goes through the bottom of your pleats. If you have a middle to higher end kilt, you probably have them. If you have a very high end kilt, you probably have many of them, and they go all the way around. All the way around the back of your kilt. If you have a kilt with a basting stitch in it, you wear it out, it's like you're wearing a burlap bag. So get that thing out of there. There is, I did a video on the basting stitch. Take it slow, take it slow, take it slow. All right, so you've got pleats, you've got your wind. Undergarments. It's a very legitimate concern. My rule is this. It's a who am I with, not a where am I. If I'm out and about with a bunch of kids around, it's not even up for discussion. If it's a shenanigans style event where there are just grown-ups, it's a judgment call. That's just for me. There are a good number of people who absolutely refuse to wear anything under their kilt no matter what. Fine. There are other people who wear something under their kilt no matter what. Fine. Don't care. Totally up to you. I am not going to say good, bad, or otherwise for your choice in undergarments because it's not my problem. And it's none of my business. What you put your twig and berries in is your own problem, your own business, and your own concern. No one else's. Men, women, whatever you put, whatever, you know, I don't have lady parts, so I'll just, you know, let you do as you wish. So undergarments. Okay, so we've talked about wind, basting stitches, pleats, underwear. The big thing is getting in and out of a car, sweeping your pleats. I did a video on how to sit down in a kilt. It's called Sweeping Your Pleats. You actually just, there's a whole video on it. It just go through the videos on the page. It's in there. It's probably a good 10 minutes on just how to sit down wearing a kilt. The one word of caution is if you're sitting on metal bleachers, do everything you can to make sure your pleats are where they need to be, or you're gonna freeze yourself off. And freezing sucks. So, let's go down the list. We've got wind, pleats, people, undergarments, sitting down. Some other things you got to be really aware of is accessories. Now, I'm throwing this with a grain of salt. Accessories are exactly as useful and as necessary as you have money to afford them. You can pay an astronomical amount of money for super high quality accessories. This sporran, but Wyvern Leatherworks, awesome, very, very well done. $250 maybe, handmade, and this is my daily sporran, and I've had this for a long time. If I'm wearing a sporran and it's not a formal event, this is the one. In a formal event, it's a 50-50 shot. It's either that or my chinchilla sporran with the pewter cantle, which very rarely gets used because it is very impossible to replace. I can't afford it, and I can't justify buying a new one. Shoes, jackets, all of that stuff. It is exactly as necessary as you can afford. If you're going to an event, say you're going to a wedding, and you're not standing up by the altar, either getting married or one of the groomsmen, or if the women are wearing kilts, one of the bridesmaids, then you just wear your best. You don't need to spend $3,000 outpricing the bride to look good. There are at least 3 or 4 different everyday KTs that talk about how to dress up a kilt. Simple. I mean, look at this. A very simple polo shirt and a kilt doesn't look too shabby. White t-shirt button down, even better. White t-shirt and a vest, that's my go-to for business attire and networking events. Not hard to do. Most people have a white shirt or can get one fairly cheaply. The black button-down vest, I prefer a 5-button. You can get them all over the place. If you want a kilt one, I usually get mine from USA Kilts, usakilts.com. It's about $90, but it's wool, and it is awesome. I love them. So, dressing up your kilt is totally up to you. It's how you do it. It's the way you want to do it. There are some guidelines, historically speaking, as to what your kilt should look like and how your gear and kit should look. I will reiterate that those are guidelines. There are a very large number of people who are trying to be extremely strict and will try to exact their brand of keyboard justice against those who do not wear their kilt properly. You wearing your kilt properly means you have it on. Properly means the pleats are in the back. Pleats, those in the back. Okay, you're done. That's properly. If you want to have a belt, fine. If you don't, fine. If you want a sporran, fine. If you don't, fine. If you want to wear it with boots, fine. If you want to wear it with Converse Chucks, fine. Slippers with, or sandals with socks, not my cup of tea, but fine. Go for it. How you wear that kilt is up to you in its entirety. End of discussion. That's it. Now, you may want to temper your clothing discussion or decisions based on where you're going. If you're going to court, the Ozzy Osbourne t-shirt, ratty old army boots, and a beat to hell utilikilt with holes in it and an anthrax patch on the side from one of their concerts, probably not the best if you're the one at the stand. That being said, go for it. I mean, it's your kilt, it's your life. Whatever you want to do is whatever you want to do. So, that's the stuff you want to wear. There are a great number of resources, either through one of my videos or pretty much all over the web, on how to wear a kilt in the historical sense. A lot of people throw around the word tradition. Tradition is subjective depending on which era you're talking about. Traditional could mean a great kilt. It could mean a Victoria era kilt. It could be something else. So I don't like to use traditional very much. I did earlier in the videos, and then I realized that I was not accurate because traditional kilting changes depending on the era of when the kilt was being worn. Just so those of you who don't know, Braveheart wearing the kilts. They didn't actually wear kilts in the 1300s. Those didn't show up until around the 1600s. Based on my knowledge. All right, so we have all those shenanigans. So that's the how, the what, the where, and the why of a kilt. Oh, washing a kilt. Unless you know, or so say you've got a middle of the road kilt, knife pleat like this one, and it's dirty. You had all manner of fun, and it needs to be cleaned. If you know a dry cleaner well and you trust them with your most expensive garments, give them a shot. Otherwise, you got a bunch of videos on how to wash your kilt using some woolite, a bucket of water, and a little bit of thyme. Not much. And hanging it out. And it goes through how to steam it, press it, all those shenanigans. I always wash my kilts by hand myself. The one kilt I sent to a cleaner's was completely destroyed. The pleats might as well have been a busted up accordion that had been fallen into a box of napalm. Completely wrecked. It took me a very long time to get those pleats fixed. So, wash them by hand unless you trust the people you're going to have wash them. Repairing a kilt. Again, find a good seamstress, fine. Most kilts, you can fix them yourself if you know which end of a needle is up and how thread works. It's not difficult. I do them all the time. Leatherworking repairs. Like I said, fixing those, no problem. Fixing this, I sent it back to Donnie because I broke one of the tassels. He fixed it up and it was awesome. So fixing your gear, it just depends on your craftiness. If you're really good at fixing stuff like that, then swing for the fences. If not, a local seamstress should be able to help you out. Now, when it comes to growing in a kilt, if you get bigger or smaller, which happens to most people, it depends on the type of kilt you have. A utility style kilt is not very forgiving. The new switchbacks by Utilikilt are, and there are a couple of utility style kilts. I think UT kilts is one of them. Sport kilt is another one. They have Velcro here in the front on the aprons, so they are a little forgiving. But if you try to trust that too much, remember the aprons are only so wide, and if they no longer are crossing each other, then you wind up with about this much of coverage, which is great when you're standing still. But if you go like this, you know, everything comes out to show. So just remember that if you're going to buy a kilt, make sure you're honest with yourself as far as sizing goes. Leather tartan kilts like this one, they've got buckles. They've got about 2 or 3, maybe 4 inches of leeway. You can always also buy cheater straps, is what I call them. Strap extenders. There's a couple of different companies that make them. Get a couple more inches, but again, you got to be careful of the width of your apron. If you have a narrow apron, you can't really expand it too terribly much. So that's all the stuff about the how, the what, and the where. Oh, Skean do's, knives. I don't wear them anymore because I'm in Massachusetts, and open carrying bladed knives like that, I don't know. So I just leave them at home because all of mine are either one of a kinds or custom built, special something, stuff I can't replace. So I just leave them alone. I show them off every once in a while when people ask, but that's about it. Maybe a Scottish festival or a Ren Fair or something, but out and about normally, no. So wherever you are, be cognizant of the law of the land. Some places are okay with you wearing your knife in your boot. Some places are not. I know that there are several companies that make what they call a Skean don't, and it's a handle that looks like a Skean do, but it's a bottle opener on the bottom. Very cool. I highly suggest those if you don't have one. I don't yet, but that's because I haven't bought it. That's all. So that's all. That's a really quick short of this stuff. The rest of it is all about how to deal with people, how to deal with everything that's wrapped around the kilt. So the only way you're definitely going to be able to handle wearing a kilt in public is doing it. If you live in an area where there are people wearing kilts, and you know someone that's even in a driving distance between you and the next person who has a kilt on, drive. Take the half an hour. Crash at their place. They crash at your place. Whatever. Go out together. More people wearing a kilt makes it much easier if you are the one who is new to wearing it. You will get loads and loads of attention. You will get loads and loads of good and bad attention. Lots of people either want to be you or be with you in every sense of both words, or they're going to hate your guts and think you're completely lunatic. There's also another one, which is the crazy drunk people. They have their own special category. That usually involves police officers if it gets too crazy. But the people who want to be you and want to be with you, you got to be careful of them, because if they can get a little enthusiastic, might be a good word. They won't leave you alone. They'll sit and talk your ear off about the history of their great-great-great-great-great-great-grandmother's, sisters, cousins, brothers, roommate from the war, how they were at Culloden for hours. And if you let them, some people will just talk and talk. I mean, and they make me look concise when I get on a roll. So be aware that you are going to be asked questions of all types. The fact that you have a kilt means you know everything about Scottish history. You know every clan, you know every castle, every town, and probably damn near every person alive in Scotland now, and for the entire history of the country, and all of the other Celtic tribes. And depending on the person, you also know everything else. You know how to fix air conditioners. You know how to fix a 1979 Chevy Nova with a blown head gasket. You can fix it because you're wearing a kilt. You have that confidence. You are showing that confidence and exuding that confidence, which means everybody thinks you can do everything. So just be ready for that, because it's going to happen. You're going to get asked questions about every manner of everything known to man, and a lot of things that nobody knows at all. And there is an expectation that you will know an answer. My recommendations, either tell the truth or have fun with it. You know, if somebody comes up to you and starts talking about dinosaurs, talk about Barney. He's a dinosaur, technically. You know, if they talk about asking for about carpentry stuff, ask if they know Wilson, the guy next door from Tim the Toolman Taylor. It's carpentry, sort of. You know, they come up asking about leatherwork. You say, well, there was this one time I did this thing with a leather strap, and you just make up stories. Have fun with it. So, all in good humor, all in good fun. My best suggestion for all of the questions and the shenanigans and everybody talking to you and wanting all these things from you is have fun with it. That's the very best suggestion I can give you. Just have fun. Because people are going to have crazy opinions, crazy ideas, and crazy notions about who you are and what you do simply because you have on a kilt. Odds are you're going to blow those notions right out of the water, because you are not your clothes. You are you. And if you live as yourself, not your clothing, then they're just going to be flabbergasted, befuddled, and otherwise confused because, oh, wait a minute, you don't throw trees every day? Why not? You don't like haggis? How come you can't play the bagpipes? That happens. I get those questions at least once a week, even from people that I know. They just never asked before. So be ready for crazy questions, because you're going to get them. Crazy discussions, crazy people. You're going to have a lot of people that are going to want to talk to you, and legitimate, interesting conversations. Go for it. Have fun. The kilt will open all manner of doors, personally and professionally. You be the kilt man, or the kilt guy, or a kilted realtor like my friend Corey, or the kilted window guy like Ed down in Houston, or there's all manner of the kilted people that do certain things. I'm the kilt man up here, and I do marketing and PR, talking to people and helping them get things done. If you can do that, swing for the fences, make it happen. Because the keys to the castle are yours if you can find a way to use your kilt to benefit yourself personally and professionally. Very awesome stuff. Now, that other category of people, the crazies, the drunk ones, those you need to treat with kid gloves because they have no boundaries. None whatsoever. What's yours is theirs, and what's theirs is theirs, and what's yours that is yours, that should be yours, that should not be theirs, is theirs anyway. So be aware of those individuals. There have been a few occasions where I've had to remind them that grabbing my junk is sexual assault. 2 or 3 of the folks backed off, looking at me like I'd smacked them in the gut. One didn't believe me, and lucky me, buddy I was drinking with was a cop. Problem over. So just be cognizant of that, and be ready for those types of encounters. If you're lucky, they're going to be very, very rare, and they're going to be harmless. Not always, though. But then again, keep in mind, I've only had maybe 4 or 5 times when that's happened over 12 years. So just keep that in mind. So that is a very tiny, encapsulated version of this stuff that you need to know as a kiltman. Now, one other question that I forgot to mention earlier that everyone's going to ask, what the hell is this and what do you put in it? Okay, so it's a sporran, S-P-O-R-R-A-N. It's not a man purse, a man bag, or whatever the hell else they're going to call it. And this is where your stuff goes. Your wallet, your keys, your all manner of whatever you carry goes in there. You know, if you carry, if it fits in there, you can fit a pistol in there if you want, depending on the brand that you prefer and the style of sporran you like. Totally up to you. Some of them will fit. You just gotta, that's what it is. Now, the very last thing, and easily the most important non-wear or non-gear question is, what's under the kilt? This is easily, at the same time, the most interesting and humorous and pain-in-my-ass question ever. It is a constant. You will be asked all the time. You will be asked by women. You will be asked by men. You will be asked by women for men. You will be asked by men for women. You will be asked by dogs for cats who like women. Everybody is going to want to know what's under your kilt. Every single person. Some know. Some don't. Some think they know. Some want to know. Drunk people try to find out on their own. Sometimes sober people will do the same. It is a constant. It is the universal constant. It happens as much or as often as you wear your kilt. Every single day that I've worn my kilt, someone somehow has either asked or inferred that question. Now, there are countless answers. And I'll go back to what I said before. The best way to handle this one is have fun with it. There are thousands of jokes you can tell. There are thousands of different speeches, descriptions, metaphors, you name it, you can use it. There are countless things you can say. Most of them are hilarious, especially with the proper delivery. There are a few which are, well, you're just crazy. And every once in a while you actually just say, none of your business. It's as simple as that. You know, my general go-to, at least in the past 2 years, has been this. Boots. That's what's under my kilt. Socks too, if they press the issue. So that's a nutshell about the entirety of kilts. What you wear, how to wear it, what you're going to do. Oh, I keep forgetting. Cold weather versus warm weather. Cold weather kilts, it's simple. Yes, you can wear kilts. Just make sure your boots are warm. Got a big jacket on and you have a heavier weight kilt. A thrifty kilt by Sport Kilt is not going to cut it in a blizzard. If you have a heavyweight wool, Stillwater heavyweights, a custom 16-ounce or heavier kilt, and there are a good number of other kilt companies out there that make a good, heavy kilt for the winter. One reason, stay warm. Heat rises, this thing's a big, huge balloon. It just keeps all the heat in one spot. So, Oh yeah, all kinds. See, if you want to know about what's under the kilt, just read some of the comments of this video. There's tons. So I'm going to leave it with that tonight. A very, very short how-to of everything kilted. There are countless things that I did not include. Odds are it's in one of my videos earlier. This is number 173, so it's 172 other videos about how to wear a kilt. But I'm going to go back to this one statement. If you want to wear the kilt, simply put it on and wear it. Nobody has a right to tell you that you are not allowed to wear your kilt. You can be anything and wear a kilt. I have seen dogs wear kilts. If a dog can wear a kilt, you can wear a kilt. I don't care what you look like, what sex you are, what color you are, where you are from, where your ancestors are from. If you have legs, if you have arms, I don't care. It does not matter. If you want to wear a kilt, then wear your kilt. Simple. That's it. If you want to be polite, I guess is maybe learn a little bit about the tartan of the kilts you're going to wear. But in all reality, there's maybe roughly 5 or so, maybe a few more kilts that are very restricted as to who can wear it. Most of them, anybody can wear it. This is my own kilt, my own tartan, Brotherhood of the Kilt tartan. Anybody can wear it, you just got to get one. So if you want to wear a kilt, put it on. Very, very simple. No shenanigans wrapped around it. Just put it on. And then you're done. So, as always, if you're just joining, if you've never seen my videos, somebody throw up a volume of Kiltology. I went in the house and grabbed a few books. I haven't even embossed these yet. These are so new. So somebody pick a volume, one or two. Whoa, some funky gravity in my garage tonight. Dave, Swing for the Fences, Volume 2. Volume 2. It's on Amazon for those of you who don't know. Oh, Jesus. This one is directly related to my every single day agony. Not a whole lot to do with today. Well, no, it does, because wind comes from who? Mother Nature. Mother Nature, as we all know, is very ornery and always curious when she sees someone in a kilt, male, female, whatever. Her sole mission is to blow that kilt up. So, Kiltology number 451, Seasonal Allergies. It is a little known fact that seasonal allergies are not just a random medical condition, but a concerted act of biological warfare against kilties by none other than Mother Nature herself. When she realized that men would no longer bend to her will after they donned the kilt and found their new freedom, Mother Nature released into the atmosphere an evil biological attack on kilties in the form of mold, pollen, and all manner of airborne microbes designed to make the kiltie as miserable as possible. While it is a nuisance to some and a huge pain in the ass to others, this feeble attempt to keep we kilties down has failed with the advent of a myriad of anti-allergy medicines and treatments. Again, Mother Nature doesn't get her wish and will undoubtedly come up with some other devious means of ending kiltie freedom, or at least getting a glimpse of their kilted pride. So those of you who have allergies like me, take something every day so your head doesn't explode. Remember, Mother Nature is the single most curious being in the universe. She wants to know every day, all the time. If you don't believe me, next time you go to Walmart or some other store, remember what happens when you go over to open the door and try to get in your car if there's something parked next to you. I'm willing to bet that more often than not, you're going to get a wind, a gust of wind that wasn't there before. And it's always the moment you go to sit in your car or truck. Night, Dave. I hope the smoking's going, or the lack of smoking is going well. Buchanan's. No, I have not. I'll have to give that a shot someday. So with that, I'll bid you adieu, everyone. Have a good night. Remember, if you have questions about the kilt, please feel free to ask me. There are tons of videos that I've done about all things kilted. And as always, be strong. Put a kilt on.